is unfunnable. Fusion reaction.
Oh, hell yeah.
Get to the chopper! Press go up.
Gigantic fusion reactor that just works.
Multiple income streams and real yield.
Ooh, yeah!
Cheats can no longer dump on your heads. The revolutionary decentralized finance protocol. Fusion reaction in T-minus 3, 2, 1.
Fusion! You don't know the power. The math is unfunnable. Fusion reaction.
Oh, hell yeah.
The mothership. And what's it gonna do? Everybody excited?
Oh, hell yeah.
Give my creation! Fusion.
Get ready to rumble.
Fusion.
Gotta do a huge shout out to Cool Sheet. That song just hits.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the official AMA, live AMA. We come to you every Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern, covering all the ecosystems, DeFi, Plazm, EMP, everything that we're building here. My name is AJ, I'm the team lead, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host with the most and fellow team member, LA. LA, how are you?
Hey guys, welcome Emperors. Good to see everybody.
Yeah, no doubt. Glad to have you back, LA. I know both of us have been traveling. As you can see, my background too, back in the studio, not in the not in the hallway of the hotel. People looking at me like I'm crazy doing a live stream. But hey, maybe they get excited and want to join Fusion. Anyway, we have a lot to go over today. Appreciate all you being here. Please remember to also like, comment, and subscribe before we get started. Again, the more engagement, the better. We also have a lot more new faces through Plazm, and we are now streaming on 4 different profiles. So the EMP YouTube channel, my personal X, Plazm X, and EMP X. So wherever you are joining,
Nice.
yeah, totally, right, LA? So wherever you are joining, please, again, happy to have you here and help spread the word. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump right in. LA, before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about the market, but how are you? Everything good on your side?
Yeah, everything's good on my side. To all my fellow Canadians, big happy Thanksgiving to all of you that just passed.
I love it. Let's go. Yeah, no doubt. We're getting ready for our Thanksgiving here in the States. The kids are excited for Halloween. We're excited for Halloween. Hopefully, we have some updates on HVM. We'll be doing that AMA after this one, so remember to join us over there at 8:30 p.m. as well. But overall, just wanted a quick update on the market. We did see some weakness again on Bitcoin and ETH, and markets overall. We had a crazy flash crash, one of the biggest liquidations or the biggest liquidation event in crypto history, more than the FTX debacle, more than COVID. So again, good news is we had pretty much a V-shaped recovery. And although we're bleeding out a little bit more this week, overall, I think that's pretty healthy. Have always said October will be a thing, and I do think that we still finish out October strong. But I think that this has confirmed that we are in an extended cycle. So the fact that we are, getting institutions involved now, major players in the game, treasury reserves like we have with Michael Saylor and Tom Lee, literally just buying Bitcoin and ETH to have on their balance sheets. All this is different, and LA and I were talking about this in a team meeting earlier this week. Crypto is it's changed. It's not like what it used to be when we started EMP, and we've been able to navigate through the space pretty well, I think, and we're still super bullish on what crypto is. But the landscape is definitely changing, and it is a bit of like be careful what you wish for in the terms of like we were hoping that institutions would adopt crypto, but that also comes with some manipulation, and obviously we've seen that through exchanges as well. I know when you do high leverage, which we always recommend never to touch leverage, but unfortunately people get greedy, and on centralized exchanges, leverage can be a really terrible thing that destroys lives. And so we saw that again happen with a flash crash. Everybody gets liquidated. Market makers then have to cover their losses, and that creates even more of a dump. So it really can create mass issues overall. But as long as we're in the game and we're still continuing to stack, I think if anything, this is really bullish for DeFi, decentralized finance, because people are realizing that they can't trust exchanges. What we have said all along, not your keys, not your crypto, and people will start learning. Unfortunately, because they've lost so much on centralized exchanges, they're going to start looking for other alternatives, that truly embraces what crypto is. So, if anything, I think it's bullish for us long term because now people are removing their money off of centralized exchanges and they're learning about dexes. And so, with dex swap and everything that we're doing, our vaults as well. We'll talk about bonds a little bit later, but even with a massive crash and recovery, we didn't really get hit with a lot of impermanent loss, which has been awesome. That shows the power of bonds as well. So all that being said, I get it. It's very frustrating to see ETH back under 4,000. I really was not thinking we would go to those levels. However, I don't think we're ever going to see ETH under 3 grand. And even if Bitcoin gets all the way down to say 100K, I think there's a lot of support at those levels. So again, obviously we want October to continue, but I think that this has confirmed an extended cycle where we just see some choppiness for the next few months, and then really get a blow off top later next year. And the other catalyst that could change all that tomorrow is rate cuts. So with global liquidity and rate cuts here in the U.S., those sort of catalysts can recover things in a matter of hours. So overall, again, it hasn't broken my conviction in crypto. But how about you, LA? Are you weathering the volatility? Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind. I was saying to AJ yesterday that when we get our bond payments in USDC, it's actually a way better time to then turn it into ETH or whatever else, and then just have it sit and wait for it to grow. So I don't mind at all.
Absolutely, LA for sure. And that's another really cool thing about bonds and vaults. Having a take profit token in USDC, you can buy the dips. I know, a lot of people have without that revenue coming in, they don't have any more capital to buy the dippity dip. But if you're in bonds or any other sort of real yield products that we have, you always, have a little more to DCA. So Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and jump right in. Also, I see some great questions coming in already. Please make sure to ask questions, whether it's on X or YouTube. We'll see it in the chat, and then at the very end, we'll go over all the questions. So, please feel free to ask as we go. So, all right, LA, let's jump right in. We did have a bit of a scare with EMP, but we are good to go now. If you're in the Telegram, you saw the update. But LA, I want to make sure we go over it. Do you mind reading the announcement and then
For sure.
I can elaborate a little more?
Yeah, so as some of you already know, we had a little bit of a miscalculation on the sacrifice points for a small handful of wallets that were sacrificing into Fusion a few days ago. Just so everyone has peace of mind, our developers have been working around the clock to make sure the ecosystem was not compromised and to make sure we're able to move forward business as usual. And happy news is that it was a completely isolated incident and literally zero funds were lost. So that being said, we do still need some time to just tie up some loose ends. But in the meantime, the system is operating as it should be with all the protocols. The only temporary thing that has shifted is that the marketplace is offline temporarily while the developers are finished all their safety protocols and precautions. But you are still able to sacrifice. You are still able to claim your, stuff from your cash out batteries, all that stuff. So all of that is business as usual. And any potential selling of eShare that we saw was due to individual wallets, not it was not directly connected to the other thing we were looking into with the miscalculation on the sacrifice points. Big shout out to Fusion Watch and some of the key community members who are catching things early and just always staying vigilant. And as usual, if anything looks off to you, always just let us know right away. We're always going to, appreciate that and look into things right away if anything feels off.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, great overview, LA. Again, just to reiterate, it was an isolated incident. Again, it had to do with some of the TROPs and the way peg bonuses are calculated, but no other issues. We even looked into some of the history if this had happened, in the past, and the answer is no. So that's awesome. And yeah, again, I don't even want to call it an exploit because no funds were lost. And now we're on top of all of it. So yeah, unfortunately, we did see some OGs selling Eshare, and I know that we had mentioned a compromised wallet last week. And the good news is that the hacker, I guess, good news, and to put that in quotes, the hacker has gotten rid of all the Eshare. So all that was an isolated incident as well. But now we're looking really good, and we'll talk about Eshare next. But the only thing to look out for is there was some dilution because there's a lot more sacrifice points now. So we will be looking into removing that, and your ownership share will go back up again. So just be aware of that. All that will be removed and blacklisted. And then the final step is reinstating the marketplace. So unfortunately, the only bummer is you're not able to sell or buy uh, microgrid positions right now. So you will need to sacrifice EMP directly. But hey, maybe that helps get peg going a little bit. So a good little side effect that can help the community some. But all that will be returning. Just bear with us. And we'll be doing updates through all of our socials. And hopefully I'll have some major updates by next week. So, all right, awesome. And again, any questions, let me know. But speaking of eShare, overall, eShare has been still looking really strong. I mean, we saw some the buy the news or buy the rumor, sell the news a bit on eShare, especially with Plazm coming out. But honestly, I think we're finding a new floor. I mean, eShare seems to look really good right now. I think that the use cases and the utility are there. And with Plazm, it's not just a one-time deal. It's something that will support eShare forever. And so we also, and again, we'll do an update on this as we go. But we've also converted about 10% of the real yield from bonds that in with Plasm to actually buy different LP positions to put ongoing buying pressure on the eShare ETH LP as well. So this will really help deepen liquidity on eShare and give people a way to take profit from Plasm, without hurting the system. So this is really, really powerful. And again, remember, it's bullish for Plasm as well, even though, that 10% is now going to this instead of the buy and burn. It has the same effect because when we buy and trade LP with eShare, that deepens liquidity and puts buying pressure on eShare, which will push the price of Plasm as well. And we've had an incredible chart for the eShare Plasm uh, uh, um, ratio as well, which I'll show here in a second when we start talking about Plasm. But overall, things are looking really good. The ROI has actually been going up in Plasm. And again, over the long run, this will just be continual buy and burn of not only Plasm, but also eShare. So don't sleep on eShare. It will continue to be, the speculative token of the EMP ecosystem. But now that it's attached to Plasm, it gets even more utility and use case and, a lot less on the market as well. I mean, every day we're locking away more and more Plasm and eShare in both the LP and just buying and burning it. So lots of really cool news for eShare. And, I think, again, not financial advice, but barring any other individual users, getting compromised, I think that the diamond hands are in. I know a lot of our OGs have been buying the dips and holding, and the treasury is still as well. So all great news for eShare. All right, awesome. Anything else with eShare, LA?
No, I think you covered it all, and we can dive a little bit deeper into it during the question section because I see some questions on it here.
All right, yep, absolutely. Just please continue asking and we'll get to everything at the end. So, all right, let me go ahead and pull up Plasm. We'll go over Plasm and what I was talking about with the chart as well. Hang on. All right, hopefully y'all can see. All right, let me go ahead and open up this really quick. All right, so this chart looks fantastic. So what this is the eShare to Plasm ratio chart. So essentially, this is how Plasm is performing against eShare. So again, looking up and to the right, we had lots of great buying pressure on Plasm. A lot of people buying and staking, and even the USD chart is starting to really look good as well. So remember, we've said all along Plasm will get off to a slower start than Unity or Taurus or any of the other protocols that were inspired by this. But as the buy and build and buy and burn, grows, it just gets more and more powerful with time, which is really the exact opposite of every other daily creation platform like this. They start out really strong, and then new users are not feeding the system, and then unfortunately, as the buy and burn drains, it's game over. And with our system, we have literally fixed all of that because we don't need new users to continually have the buying pressure indefinitely. So that's really bullish. Again, we've gone over those fundamentals on many of the AMAs. I'll go over it again in a minute here. But the buy and burn is just continually growing through our bond system. So this is looking great. And a lot of the supply isn't even coming out yet. So all right, let me pull that up. We'll talk about that next. All right, so here we are on the Plazm site, and as you can see, the estimated ROI has actually been going up, which is amazing. Yeah, when we saw the big dip on Eshare and Plazm itself, the ROI goes down. Again, it is all variable, and obviously a 20,000% ROI is not sustainable, so do not expect that. Listen to my words today. However, the whole idea is that you're creating with a long enough time frame that you do realize profit, even if the price goes down dramatically. I mean, those of you that are doing the maximum creations at 77 days, the price could go down, 90% or more, and you could still be in profit. So that's why it's really important that you create the maximum length to get the most amount of plasm uh, distributed to you. So we work on 77-day cycles. You can mint with ETH or eShare. That's another thing I've seen some people selling eShare to ETH and then minting. Obviously, there it is a double-edged sword because that adds ETH to the buy and burn, but the selling pressure on eShare kind of shoots yourself in the foot a little bit. So if you have eShare already, I would still suggest just to create with eShare. So that way you don't have to sell it. You just hit this button down here at the bottom, and that still goes into the eShare buy and burn. So it's actually more immediate help than the bonds are even. So again, if you already have eShare, I would create with eShare. If you are new to the system or don't have a lot of eShare, or maybe you have eShare and you just want to speculate on, a 10x on eShare, which is very doable, then you want to create with ETH. So, and then staking is still a lower ROI, but there is some advanced strategies with staking. Join the Telegram to discuss those. Again, when in doubt, create far out. I think that was I saw that saying in one of the other chats. So if you're not really sure about the system, the best way to protect yourself is doing the maximum length creation, and then you can learn more about staking and other things as it grows. So overall, looking really healthy. I want to go over some stats as well. All right, so this is the buy and burn, and the buy and build. Um, remember that buy and burn does exactly what it says. It buys and burns the supply of plasm. So as the price of plasm goes down, you're able to buy and burn more and more. And overall, plasm is a fixed supply. Even though the supply comes out, people sometimes mistake that for inflation, but it's not inflation. It's basically, the emissions of the supply. So only 125 million plasm will ever be created, and honestly, I don't ever think we'll see more than 100 million because of the buy and burn, and that's over 20 years. So again, a fixed supply, buying and burning is mathematically guaranteed to drive the price up over time. So, all right, so this is the buy and burn with Plazm, and this is the USDC. So again, this is what bonds are fed for, and we already have about 5K waiting. So we haven't turned on the buy and burn for the USDC side because we haven't had to yet. But right now we're generating about $700 a day in real yield. So at some point we could even turn the buy and burn and buy and build on the USDC side, we can turn that up to 100% because every day it gets replenished. So that is really bullish because no other protocol has been able to uh, allocate, that percentage to a buy and burn. So and then buy and build does the same thing, but it locks it up in LP. So we're always creating more liquidity. This will go on the market buy half Plazm, half Eshare, and create LP and lock the LP. So all this LP is locked liquidity. Again, we can't get to it. No admin keys. It's there forever. So it is somewhat of a burn as well. Although the tokens are not burnt, it really locks up a lot of supply of Plazm and Eshare in the LP. All right, and then two other things real quick. All right, let's see if this loads. All right, so we were able to update the UI. This ETH balance was showing a lot less over the last week. When we did the bond upgrade, we had to update the UI. And so, people were, I guess, getting a little panic or worried because the ETH value was not going up. And that's just because it was a UI issue. So right now we're at 82 Ethereum, which is amazing. We were at 80 just this morning. So shout out to all of you that have been creating every day and up over almost, with the P&L of what we've been earning, we're, almost at 330K, and it's only been, a little over 2 weeks. So right now, again, $10,000 roughly applied to the buy and burn and the buy and build. So, and we're really big on transparency. So, you can just come here to view on DBank. We added this link as well. And you can see that these are all the bond positions. So this is for the bonds overall, but again, you can do the math. We essentially own 10%, a little bit more of all these positions. And that is where the real yield comes from. So the ETH that is used for creation goes into bonds. Bonds are then used to buy and create LP on different pairs, both on base and BNB and AVAX, and then we create real yield through LP providing. And again, with the volatility we've seen, we've had record numbers of yield because the more volume, the more fees that we earn through LP. So, and one last thing, you still get exposure to all the underlying assets. So when we see ETH double, or we actually have a bull run, or alt season rather, this number could go up dramatically in terms of ratio and dollar value. So, then now we're earning, if ETH doubles, theoretically what we earn doubles. So now we're earning, $700 a day. Everything $1,500 a day without any new deposits. So again, you get underlying asset exposure and real yield. It's the best of both worlds. So really, really cool stuff. All right, one last thing I want to show. LA, are you still there? I
Yeah.
don't know if all right, I don't know if I cut out. So I've done that before where I go on a rant and then I realize nobody heard me. So, all right, one last thing, another addition to the site we've added is Fusion Watch Analytics. So, let me go here. All right, and shout out to Rover and John, the brains behind Fusion Watch. It is our own version of doing analytics for literally every single part of our protocols. No matter what protocol, our entire umbrella is here at Fusion Watch. And now you see Plazm. So, some really cool metrics. We have total creations. How many creations are there today? Total stakes, and the rollover just happened too. So these numbers will only grow. But what is really cool down here is the daily Plazm release chart. So this is when unlocks happen. As you can see, we're still looking really good. The most of the supply doesn't even start to trickle out until day 22. And everybody's done a great job about spreading it out. and we don't see hardly any of the supply coming out until day 77. So, or those that created day 79. But if you created early, you're in this first round. So that all means that we have plenty of time for the buy and burn, to create enough yield that we're able to deal with all the selling pressure that will happen on those days. And the real insider info is those that end up staking rather than selling on those massive days when the supply comes out, they'll have even more plasm for the next cycle. So, again, I get it. People want to take profit, but if you have a long-term vision with this system, you're going to set yourself up for incredible uh, potential passive income where you could just sell the yield from your stakes or creations and let that buy and burn just keep the price steady. So again, really really cool stuff. And then one more cool chart is the mathematical floor price as well. So remember, as the supply comes out, this number will change, but after day 77 or 79, when most of the supply, at least the initial supply, is out, we will get a really, really great, reliable number of the floor price. And why the floor price is important is because with the buy and burn kicking in, it makes it mathematically impossible for people to be negative as long as they're willing to hold long enough. So you'll see this floor price go up and to the right very gradually, but forever. And so that is again a really, really cool aspect of this system, and why I'm so excited that we have added this to our repertoire. So again, not financial advice. ROI and APR will fluctuate, but if you have a 2 or 3 cycle mindset, this will perform incredibly well even in a bear market. So again, I'm very very bullish on the economics of Plazm. So all right, I think that is about it for that. Let me go back here. Was there anything else on the notes for Plazm, LA?
No, that was it for Plazm. That was a really good breakdown.
All right, amazing. And yeah, if there's been a ton of great tutorials as well. Shout out to DeFi After Party. Shout out to Crypto Pride. I see him in the chat tonight. And R2R, Thomas G, has done an ongoing series as well. So a lot of great YouTuber coverage for those that want to know how to actually, get involved with Plazm if you are still a little unsure. So, all right, Larry, what is up next on the notes?
Yeah, let's chat a little bit about bonds.
All right, wonderful. Let me jump over to bonds.
And so, just to give you guys a little bit of an update, bonds underwent some maintenance and updates last week, but they're fully back online. You can always view your balance inside this app that AJ has open right now. As you can see, APRs are coming back up to normal levels, and obviously not at all financial advice, but now with the market being down and on a dip, pretty great time to stock up if you are looking to stock up on more bonds.
Yeah, absolutely, LA. So, like you mentioned, we did go through just some routine maintenance. When that happens, we do have to upgrade some things, and we do that every few months just to make sure everything's good and to add new features. So, there's a P&L at the bottom now and just some enhanced metrics. So overall, again, the only downside is that it does affect the APR. But that is really just kind of a UI issue. We are on what we call epochs. Every Wednesday night it rolls over, and we were on 2 week epochs from a previous upgrade, and now we're back on to 1 week epochs. So the point to that is sometimes the APR is spread over multiple weeks, and it's a lagging indicator. So the money that we make in LP goes into a distribution contract every Wednesday, and that is what the APR represents. So it is real. It's not a made up number, but sometimes it's a week or two in the rears, and it's always a good idea to average the APR over multiple weeks and months. And if you did do that, we've been consistently achieving about 75% APR for the last almost 6 months now, or more. So since bonds started, it's been really powerful, and some weeks has been even more than that. So with the current volatility, APR is looking really good, and honestly, it might even go up again next week because the volume has been so good. And one of the really cool things about bonds is that you don't have to take my word for it. I showed this earlier when we were looking at Plazm, but you click this button right here for 2.1 million in the current fund value, and it will open up the DBank page that shows literally everything, um, where the yield comes from, what LPs we have, what exposure we have, and if you click on transactions right here, you can account for every single dollar that goes in and out of this protocol. So again, no smoke and mirrors, no way to even try to game the system. It's all here fully transparent, and that's what we love about bonds. So another thing I wanted to bring up real quick. Hang on one sec. All right, so bonds also, everybody has been concerned or asking about the bond price as well. So we are starting to actually compound a bit more, and will help protect capital. Right now, we're at 0.032 ETH, or $126. Not only does that fluctuate with the fund ratio, so the ETH value is determined by what assets we have exposure to. So when you're providing LP, half of that is usually Ethereum. A lot of our positions are Ethereum based, on base, but the other half is another token. And so we try to pick plays that have a lot of conviction, they have a lot of liquidity, they have teams that are building real world products, they have real yield, all those things go into account. But even when we pick great products or tokens to provide LP for, if we don't have an alt season, and the price goes down, then obviously the price of bonds will go down with it. It's a lot less about impermanent loss. Some of it definitely is impermanent loss, but because we're utilizing the vaults and the AILM, it's pretty minimal. It's more about the price decrease in the other assets that we're providing LP for. So the good news is that turns around really, really quickly. So when we see a lot of our assets in a real alt season start going up again, the ETH ratio will start going up dramatically. And the entire time, you've been earning 75, 80% APR. So even when we get through a year, if we've averaged 100% APR, and bonds went to zero, which is mathematically impossible, bonds will never be zero, you're still in the profit. So remember, this is not day trading. If you are more inclined to be able to buy the bottom and sell the top, then bonds might not be the best fit for you. But if you want exposure to the overall crypto market with real yield and literally passive income that puts USDC in your in your wallet every minute of every day, then this is a no-brainer. So remember, you have to look at the whole picture, and the numbers don't lie. I mean, look at LA. What we paid out nearly $600,000 over their course of bonds. So
Yeah, that's insane,
yeah,
and
I mean,
that's with the market down, so it's probably
100%.
even more than that.
Yeah, so again, all that is to be considered, and even if the ETH ratio stays the same, if ETH doubles, then now bonds are, $240 again. So all that is to be considered, and you have to look at the bigger picture, and even more of a reason for what we said earlier about DCAing into bonds. So, and like I said, we are allocating on some of the new vaults that we're adding capital to. We're increasing the compound ratio a bit too, so that should also help with protecting capital because more goes to compounding. The APR might be a little lower, but we're talking 1 or 2 percentages, not 10. So overall, looking really really healthy. And yeah, bonds are the backbone of our entire ecosystem now. So if you're brand new to EMP or Plasm or Fusion or anything, I would always suggest to start with bonds. So, all right. Anything else you want to add to that, LA?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Let's jump back over.
I think we can hop into some questions now.
All right. Yeah. Was that it as far as our notes?
I think so. Yep.
Perfect. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into questions, like you said. You want to start on Discord, or you want to go through the live questions?
Yeah, I've got a couple on Discord, and they're really both kind of the same. So, basically, they just want you to discuss PEG. Why has it kind of fallen back down? What's the plan to get back to PEG? Those type of topics.
Yeah, no doubt. So we are, internally discussing some things, but overall, PEG is what it is, and nothing fundamentally has changed. No matter how much, economics and PEG bonus and, healthy, sustainable design, if more people are selling EMP than buying it, then PEG will never happen, at least in the short term. What happens is, you know, we have to wait for the real yield to kick in. And, if it's only a couple of hundred or even a couple of $1,000 a day, it will take a really long time for us to get to PEG when people continue to dump. So, unfortunately, the reality is that a lot of people that have been holding liquid EMP are still selling, and no matter what we do, we have to get through those sellers. So, overall, we're continuing with what we have always done. We're using the real yield from our own treasuries to buy uh, and burn EMP, or buy sacrifice points off the marketplace to, again, remove that EMP from circulation. And we've said all along, even if you are wanting to exit the ecosystem, it's always a better idea to sacrifice and then sell your microgrid because that has no negative effect on PEG. So all the tools are here, all the design is here, and unfortunately, we can't control what other people do. We can just continue to chip away at it. So yeah, and again, I'm still bullish on the ecosystem. Everything we've designed is working. It may not be on the time frame everybody wants, but it is still fundamentally, superior to what the original EMP, with inflation and everything else, was. So, Ella, you want to add to that again? I know you always are so good at sentiment and trying to rally the troops. So yeah.
Yeah, and I know like in one of the questions it was directly referencing Fusion Watch and the Peggy Dance Challenge. The thing is that, as more people sell, that number gets larger of what we need to finally reach PEG because that Peggy Dance Challenge is how much to get back to PEG, but not how much to stay at PEG. And so we want these sellers, if they're only intending to sell on the way up, on the way to PEG, because then once we get PEG, it's easier to maintain. As much as it sucks to wait, that's just kind of the reality of it. There are people waiting on the sidelines to sell, But as we continue to have more of that inside of Fusion, it will become easier and easier and easier to regain peg.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I know there was some questions last week. We may get them tonight in the live, but like, Plasm is only another catalyst to peg. I think people uh, think that we're moving on to the next shiny object, and that is absolutely not the case. We build real world products, with again real yield supporting it, and everything that we build is in the goal of bringing real revenue back to Fusion. So again, the more that we do, although people unfortunately sell their EMP or eShare to get into the new protocols, overall it is a much bigger net positive. Again, you've heard me say 1 + 1 = 3 rather than 2, because we're always having a much bigger effect in the long run, even though in the short term, it might be a bit of a negative impact. So just remember that as well. And even if you don't care about anything else that we build or do other than EMP, you should, because it directly helps your bags. And at the very least, you can be supportive of what we're doing, even if you don't want to join in. So yeah. All right. LA again. I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Okay.
Okay, so hopping over to some YouTube ones. From Michael, hello, I need a little help understanding EMP and eShare and how it works. I'm going to eliminate the next sentence because nodes aren't around anymore. How to accumulate eShare or EMP?
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. So I think I recognize this profile picture. So I think you came in through Plazm, and yeah, or maybe you were in EMP and came back later. So happy to have you here. And yeah, 100%. So EMP transitioned away from our original structure of being a tomb fork or an inflationary type system. And now we have EMP Fusion. So EMP Fusion is essentially a way of staking or sacrificing your EMP to then earn yield from all the things that we build moving forward. And yeah, we have removed nodes, we've removed all the legacy contracts from the original EMP. Everybody was given credit in Fusion. So again, if you were involved in those early, hopefully you were able to migrate. Unfortunately, now that window's closed. We gave a few months to do that. But anyway, the whole idea is that you are essentially, by getting involved in EMP Fusion, you're essentially owning part of everything that we build moving forward. So if you're bullish on the team and myself and LA and our community and everything that we've done and the track record that we have, then buying into Fusion is giving you essentially ownership of what we do in the future. And eShare again is more of our transactional token in the ecosystem. And it's a lot more speculative. But again, the success of EMP and Fusion and everything else that we build will indirectly impact the success of eShare as well. So again, we could do a whole video on this alone. So hopefully that was a high level overview. Again, LA, anything you want to add?
No, I think you hit it on the nail on the head.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. All right.
All right. Next one. Can you explain when the microgrid values and ownership percentage are going to go back to normal after the little incident the other day?
Yeah, absolutely. So the short answer is as soon as possible. So again, we have to do a few things before that. But we're hoping within the next week, if not sooner. It could be tonight even. So I know that the devs have been working on it. We just need to make sure we don't, all the ducks are in a row before we do it. And then the first thing you'll see is that your ownership balance will be correct. We'll get rid of all the fraudulent tech points. Your ownership will go back to the right ratio, and then we'll open the marketplace. So that's the order of events.
Awesome. Okay, follow-up question from Michael. Can you break down the benefits of buying eShare?
Yeah, absolutely. So, our good friend Christian with DeFi After Party did a video on this. So I would encourage you all to check that out. I pinned it in the Plazm Telegram, but it was basically how and why eShare can potentially 10x. And so, yeah, I mean, again, buying eShare is a bit of a speculative move, meaning you're buying eShare hoping that the price goes up. But overall, there's a lot more nuance to that. So eShare number one is a highly deflationary asset, and part of our microgrid transactions goes to buying and burning eShare. Obviously, the buy and burn through Plazm, the buy and build, always adding LP. All of these things are really reducing the circulating supply and the total supply of eShare over time. So it is again a game of attrition where a few months from now there's a lot less eShare than there even is now, and even at that, the total supply of eShare right now is about 50,000, so 50. Um, it says 70 on the total supply, but we burned a ton, and there is still some emissions that come out over the next few months into February. We're on a halvening model with each year. But all that being said, there is a lot more economic energy that buys and burns each year over time. So not financial advice, but buying and holding each share could be a good move if you're bullish on the success of Plasm and all of our other ecosystems that we have. And then one more note is we also set up flywheels with our treasury where we're actually providing LP just like we do with bonds, but it buys eShare every day with the rewards rather than USDC. So we're always adding to our own flywheels that is perpetual buy pressure on eShare as well. So those are just some high level points to make. But low supply, economic energy, diamond hand OGs that have been holding eShare for years. All of that will hopefully have a big impact on eShare in the long run. All right, cool.
Awesome. Cool. I think that is all of our questions.
All right. Wow, we went through it. Nice. All right, killer. Then yeah, I don't see anything else. Again, there was one about the price of bonds. We went over that already, so please watch the recording. I know a lot of you have a hard time making it to the live, so I would encourage everybody to go back and watch the recording of these. It came up again last night in our other AMA. LA, we've done like 1,000 AMAs over the years. It blows my mind. I don't know where the time goes.
What's
But yeah,
crazy is we were saying the other day is we're like almost at our 4-year anniversary too, like which is just wild.
it is. It is. It does not feel like 4 years. And I know the majority of you that are on this AMA have been with us from the beginning. So shout out to all of you. Much love to all of you. Again, the support is what keeps us going. And it's never easy, especially when markets are down and prices are down. But we're not going anywhere. We never give up, and we're always building for the future. So thank you to all of you for realizing that. It really helps when we do get haters. It's all of you to keep us going. So, all right, LA, any final words before we wrap it up tonight?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for attending. It's so good to see so many, well, I'll say faces, but I mean like profile images
For
um,
sure.
that we haven't necessarily seen around in a little bit. And then of course, all of you who we see here every week. It's great to see all of you. And we always love your questions. So thank you for being here. Thank you for asking great questions. And we're excited to see you next week.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't have said it better. LA again. And if any of you did have questions that we didn't go over, please join our Discord. The EMP Discord channel has a specific area for AMA questions. And you can find that in all of our socials. So that will really help make sure that we always give you the most up-to-date info. So, all right, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. That really helps. As well as spreading the word on Plazm. We didn't even mention there's a 2% referral program in actual Ethereum for Plazm. So make sure you're sharing that throughout all the social channels. Other influencers, ask them if they would cover Plazm. We have a lot awesome things coming with more partnership announcements and more coverage of both EMP and Plazm. So again, we're always on the grind trying to get the word out, and anything you all can do as a community really, really helps as well. So, all right, remember we come to you every Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. We will be here next week as always, and don't forget to join us for the Universe Madness live stream coming up next at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Good night, good day. We love you all. All right. Talk soon. Bye bye.